past 2 weeks, between weather and travel, we haven't had a chance to get back out to the boat. Speaking of weather, if you haven't been anywhere other than underneath the rock, you couldn't have missed the polar vortex, a large band of cold air dropping down from the Arctic into the lower 48. In fact, it sent freezing temperatures deep into the south. Here in Virginia and all the way down in Atlanta, we were significantly below freezing. In fact, Chicago at one point was actually colder than Antarctica. So because of that, we just haven't had a chance to get back out to the boat and work. But that doesn't mean we haven't been doing other things. If you've been following the channel here for any amount of time, you know that we have 2 four-legged furry crew members. And one of the things you're always worried about with them on board is falling off the boat. So number one, I highly recommend that, like anybody else on your boat, they have a PFD. Now, we've been thinking about that problem for quite a while, and what we're going to do is have a man overboard system that we're going to use specifically for those 2. And this is what I want to share with you today. The system is put out by Emerald Marine Products. The system is really designed for large commercial ships. They put two systems out, one based on a NEMA 183 and one that actually gives you a position and tracks that position after the person has gone overboard. Now, one of the things I do when I'm not able to get out at the boat is I scour websites, Facebook, and eBay for deals on items that we're going to need on the boat at some point in time. And I came across the Emerald Man Overboard system, which is what I want to share with you today. So let's go ahead and do that unboxing. Alright, here it is. Get some packing out of there. At the heart of the system is a basic black box with an on-off power button, a light, and a man overboard light. This takes the signal from the transponder that is hooked on the individual, or in our case our dogs, and lets us know as soon as they hit the water. So it has the black box. This here is the actual transponder. It has a light on it and a water sensor right here on the side. So when the person or dog goes overboard, water gets on that little sensor, sends a signal back to the black box, and we get a audible sound, a 90 decibel audible sound. It's going to be more than loud enough for you to hear anywhere on a 40-foot boat. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to attach them on the top of their life vest. So if they should happen to fall overboard, it'll automatically go off. We'll have a light on them if they go overboard at night, and we'll be able to immediately get them back on board the boat. So along with that is a set of instructions, as usual, some zip ties, bracket for the black box. Now, since this is a NEMA 0183 based system, I'm going to do one of 2 things. I can hook it directly into my Raspberry Pi system, which I can go in via USB, or I can get a bidirectional 183 to NEMA 2000 system, and it will actually show up on my chart plotter either way, using the 183 or the 2000 system, at the point that they went overboard. Now, it won't continue to give me directions or an exact point because it's not satellite based. But with that loud sound and knowing where they're at, you should be able to get them back on board pretty quick. Along with that comes some antenna cable, an antenna bracket, and the actual antenna itself. The reason you have this antenna is this is actually designed for large commercial ships. So let's say you're on a large oil tanker or a freighter tanker. That person could be quite a distance away from the bridge but still be on the boat, and you need to get that signal on here constantly, because once the signal is broke, that's when you're going to get that alarm. So this is what we're going to do. So tune back in a later episode when we actually install this and do some testing on it. We'd like to take a break here at the channel from all the action and ask you, if you enjoy what you see here on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscription button. We'd really appreciate it. Also, give us a thumbs up. The positive feedback is always enjoyed. Like to do every so often here on the channel is keep you updated on what's going on with the budget for this haul out. If you look at this budget printout here, and if you haven't seen this before, I just kind of want to give you a brief overview of it. Anything you see in red is an item that's already been spent. So all those numbers you see on the right hand side that are in red, that's money that's already been spent. And on the left-hand side, anything you see in red that's got an X in front of it, that line item has been completed. With that said, anything in black is still remaining to be accomplished. And those items are pure budgetary numbers. Some are fairly accurate, some are best guesstimate. So if we were to start at the top there, we see outstanding item bottom paint $30. The reason that's $30 is that I won 4 gallons of bottom paint in a drawing, so that $30 is just for brushes and tapes. If you go farther down, one of the big remaining items is the standing rigging there. I have a number of $4,500. Now I've been taking estimates here for the last probably 4 or 5 months. I've got multiple ones that are more than $4,500, and I have one that is below $4,500 from rigging only. It's a rigging service, so I would remove all my rigging, mark it, box it up, send it off to them. They'd make me new rigging, send it back. They gave me an estimate about $3,500 with a plus or minus based on any product price changes since the rigging estimate was given. I spoke with them about 30 days ago and they said it really wouldn't be that much. So unless the yard can be competitive with that, that's probably who I'm going to go with. But for right now, I'm leaving that $4,500 figure in there. The next item is chain plates, and I have that as $1,000. My boat's a catch-rigged boat, so that means it's got like 14 chain plates on it. Now, hopefully that $1,000 is a little bit heavy on that estimate, because when I remake these, I'm not going to countersink them. I'm going to use cap head bolts as opposed to countersunk bolts, just to give me a much stronger chain plate, and at the same time keep the labor cost down on the manufacturing of those pieces. Because like anything you do on a boat that you don't do yourself, pretty much you can configure that labor is going to be your largest expense. So moving on down, we got teak repair, $750. That's for replacing the tow rail. Now I've got one piece of the tow rail off and with my teak guy. And since the weather has been rainy and bad, I really haven't followed up with him. So I probably won't follow up with him to get a more definitive price on that for probably a good month or two. Now, I do need to make the main mast step, and I put a number in there of about $100. Generally speaking, they're not that hard to make. They're just a plate with some holes drilled in it and a centering device. So I'm hoping that number's pretty accurate. Now, we see engine work there, $2,500. Before I pulled the boat out, I changed the oil and fuel filters. I came back 2 weeks later and couldn't get the boat restarted. The best I can tell is that I had air in the line, and we attempted to bleed it. We didn't get it. We never got it restarted. So since we were hauling out, we just went ahead and continued to haul it out. So I'm hoping here as soon as we get warm, we can get back to work on that, and there's nothing significantly wrong there other than just properly bleeding the motor. I did leave a significant number in there because I do want to change the rear main oil seal provided there's nothing seriously wrong with the motor. That'll require a mechanic to come in and do that work. Now I may push the shaft back and drop the tranny off myself just to save some labor. And I do have a stock Perkins 2-piece oil seal that I got out of England, but I am trying to track down the newer 1-piece silicone seals that do not leak, which would be really nice. But so that's what that number represents. If you go farther on down, you see a SSB antenna. This is a nice to do item. When the rigging is down, I like to put an SSB antenna up that actually basically snaps onto one of the standing rigging instead of using a backstay and an isolator, so it doesn't affect the strength of your rigging, but still gives you the same performance. I can put that on later. It just involves a little more labor in going up the mast and snapping it onto that standing rigging. Washdown pump, you see $67 there. I've already got the pump. I've started installing that. So as soon as it gets warm enough that I can get in the boat without freezing, I've got to run that line back up to the connection at the deck, the bib, hose bib there, and then do the wiring and then run the water from a through hole. So $67 left on that. Actually, it's kind of light because if I get the snap in and out deck fitting, those are about $100, but that's not going to make or break it. So if you get down to the bottom there, you see dollar amount for items completed is $14,249.60. And our remaining budget items there is $9,372, with the total for this haul out at $23,600. So there you have it, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the budget update. Once again, if you enjoyed what you are watching and if you feel it's been beneficial, we'd really love to have you give us a thumbs up and hit that subscription button. We're getting close to our first goal here of 100 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and help us reach that goal. Thanks a lot.